that should blow you guys your minds. Honestly, it should. It's some good stuff. That's a really cliche term, but it's pretty incredible. So let me wait a couple listeners to chime on. A lot of people are starting to chime on. And as they start to chime on, I'll start this podcast officially. So we're going to give it a few minutes and let people catch up with us. I guess I'll just get started as we got some people already chimed in, so I'll get started with what we're doing. So this is going to be episode 3 of the Tromello Brothers podcast. We had my mom, episode 1. She did some amazing talk. She said a lot of amazing things, which I'm going to talk about again in recap. Episode 2, we had my brother, my sister-in-law, Katie, who did a lot of great information about mental health. Episode 3, Mom's coming back with a sequel, but as she said in podcast 1, there's a lot of information that has been coming to the forefront, and it's changing constantly. And so we're going to update that information, but we're going to give solutions, more solutions this time. In episode 1, we talked about vitamin D3 being really crucial, omega-3 fatty acids being really crucial to your diet for prevention. We talked about diet and exercise and those tactics. We talked about certain things you could eat. We discussed a little bit of like how to deal with stress. We talked a lot of different things. This time around, my mom's going to talk about the 5%. And I know that sounds extremely morbid, and I don't want to scare anybody because it's really, there's so much, I don't want to say propaganda is the right word, but there's so much information out there that people just don't know what to do with it. And they don't know what's real and what's fiction, who's overly alarmed, who's underwhelming. There needs to be a middle ground. That's what we've been trying to do the last 3 weeks. So the middle ground that I want to talk about before we get started, before my mom gets started, is there's 80% of us are going to have no symptoms or very small or not crazy.
No, we can have severe symptoms.
Severe symptoms, but
it won't kill us.
20% of us are going to end up in the hospital. Of that 20%, depending on where you live, 5% could die. Okay.
No, it's maybe 2%.
Maybe 2% could die, but 5% could be in really bad shape. Sick. Really sick. That's what we're talking about.
Maybe 1.5%.
Okay, so 1.5% could die, but 5% could be bad shape.
Right.
And the goal of this podcast is to avoid being that 5%. But more so, there's going to be like avoid being the 20% really, and getting it in general. But we want to not be that 5%. My mom's been stressing about the 5%. She does not want any of her loved ones or her patients to be the 5%.
Been relentless.
Relentlessly
looking.
And if you know most of us Tromellos, we are extremely obsessive and relentless when it comes to our goals.
We're passionate.
And sometimes that gets perceived in different ways. So we're going to talk about what I'm going to let my mom take the floor here in a second and give you some amazing statistics and some solutions. And all I see on social media right now and in the news is I hear a bunch of things that are wrong. And never do I hear an actual solution. It's just this is happening. This person's dying. This is happening here. But what's the solution? So we have some amazing solutions that we're going to give you today that we think are really going to help. Once again, if you don't know who my mother is, I'm going to let her tell a little bit about herself in a sec here. My mom owns Crossroads and Health. She's a family nurse practitioner. She's been in the field for
been a nurse for almost 41 years, but I've been a nurse practitioner for 25, and I've been doing functional medicine for 18.
And my mom is a badass. Like, she's very humble. That's not like most of us, but she's extremely humble. She's done a lot of amazing work with her practice. And it's crucial to say that because her credibility is through the roof. And if you don't know who she is, then you're going to learn really, really quick. So I'm going to let my mom take it away, kind of explain about herself, what she's accomplished, and then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this podcast. Go for it.
Okay, I figured if people didn't see me last time, I talk a little bit about functional medicine and what I do. So functional medicine is a type of integrative medicine that's absolutely science-based, but looks at things in much more detail than you might be used to seeing when you see a regular practitioner. So I look at, when someone comes to see me, I look at everything. I try to learn everything about them. So I look at diet, I look at lifestyle, I look at exposures, I look at environment, I look at genetics, I look at family history, I look at everything in a lot of detail. And much of what I do is also looking at underlying biochemistry. So what has been eating at me, and why I think my message today is so important is when, again, I want to make sure that the people that I know, hopefully they don't get this at all. But if they do, they're in that 80% that do well, or if they do get sick, they're not in that 5%. And interestingly, what's affecting that 5% is not the virus. It's actually a very serious immune response to the virus called cytokine storm. And I have just been obsessed for the last 2.5 weeks. What is it? When people crash.
Can you reiterate that again? What's killing people? It's not the virus.
It's not the virus. It's something called cytokine storm, which is a very severe immune response. So when people have cytokine storm, they make some immune chemicals that that's what is attacking their organs. And that's what's destroying their lungs. That's what's affecting their kidneys. It looks like it affects the heart. It affects the brain. That's what causes the most severe illness.
That's it.
That's it.
That's what's killing people.
That seems to be it. I mean, from my understanding, that
a lot of research to get to this point, guys.
And when people decline, they decline very rapidly. And so anyway, so I looked into cytokine storm, and apparently it's been known for the last 20 years or so. I did spend my early career, I spent 5 years as an ICU nurse. I'm sure I saw lots of people with it. Yeah. It wasn't identified as that at the time. But so it's a very, very severe illness. And when people get it, as I said, they decline very, very rapidly, and it was just eating at me. So research has been done on it for the last 20 years or so. It's been looked at it in more detail, probably since around 2012. There is a doctor, I forgot his name right now, that just recently wrote a book on it that was interestingly published in November. I looked to see if I could get it, but it's $249, so not right now. But I did look at whatever information I could find on it. And so it's cytokine storm is very complex. And one thing I want to say is I don't want to oversimplify it at all today. It's a very, very complicated response. Response. It definitely looks like it has a genetic component. But it also has a component in inflammation. So because of so much what I look at, like I said, I look at underlying biochemistry. And I'm thinking, what might work? So a big piece is, we know that people with long-term chronic illness are the ones that are most likely to succumb. And I posted on my page, and I'm sure a lot of you are aware, there's a lot of statistics there that show that people that have long-term chronic illness are the ones that are much more likely to become very ill with this issue.
The statistics are staggering.
Staggering,
that
yes.
Factor.
Yes.
What was it, 99%
So in Italy, right, so the Italian health ministry came out with statistics, 99% of people that died in Italy had underlying health conditions. It looks like CDC, I looked this morning, it's looking at about 75%. More or less, they haven't looked at it as carefully. In New York City, though, they have. And you might have seen people who looked at my Facebook page. I posted a chart that came from New York City Department of Health. And I looked at the update this morning. This is statistics as of this morning. And just to give you an example, in terms of deaths at this point, people ages 45 to 64, 402 people who passed away so far, 402 had underlying conditions, 21 did not. Now, there are some that they don't know the underlying conditions. Out of ages 65 to 74, 401 had underlying conditions, 4 did not. And then ages 75 and over, 610 had underlying conditions, 4 did not. Now, some of them, they don't know all of their underlying conditions, but if you still looked at all of the statistics, if you had underlying conditions, it's staggering. So my thought, the death rate is so much higher, or the incidence of complications are so much higher, more severe disease. So my thinking was this, given that, now, there's many of us out there, and many of the people that we love and care about have underlying conditions. What could we do quickly to perhaps bring those numbers down? What if you have an underlying condition, or people that you love had an underlying condition, what could you encourage them to do? What could you do?
And how can we make you healthier right now?
Yeah.
Like, how can we fix that? And there is solutions. Yeah. It's not.
And that's what I wanted to talk about today.
We have a solution.
Yeah. That's why I said to Michael.
Yeah.
I have to do this. I have to get this information.
I was like, I'm going to get somebody else on here.
Right. I said,
no.
I know.
Going on next
week. I said, whether you do it or not, I'm doing it myself, is what I told you. I am passionate. I am just like, and I don't know if it's going to work either, okay? Like I said last time, no one knows what's going to work, if anything's going to work. We don't know.
Did you imagine this being my mom all the time? Why do you think my brother and I hadn't even been in school?
Yes.
Fuck you up. She fucked you up. It's insane.
Yeah. I want the best for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like I want the best for everybody else too. I'm just. So that's why I've just been made myself crazy. This is what I've done in my free time, is think about this and look at all this stuff. Well, I guess I really do care. So, and also I feel, I'm 63 years old. I feel very guilty that I'm not out there in the front lines as a nurse, but I figure I can't, I'm too old to work in the hospital, but I can keep people out of the hospital, and that's become my goal. So, now, everything that I'm going to say today too, that just because you do all these things, you must still maintain social distancing. Must. Okay, do whatever everything else
guys,
goes.
And we're gonna give you a diet and a detox plan and a bunch of stuff that's gonna really help you internally. You still need to move. Okay, being a health professional, as decorated I've been in my strength and conditioning world, you need to move. You need to I don't care what it is, yoga classes online, fit classes online, bodybuilding online, something. You need to be moving right now. This is, that's 50% of this equation. Don't think that you just can I'm just sit on the couch and you do a detox diet. I mean, yes, it'll help, but it's not the whole equation.
No, I'll talk about that, because you need to sweat too.
You need to sweat out the toxins, which is huge. Okay? So,
and movement
does everything. And like I said, I've offered this beginning. Precision CrossFit has online classes 3 times a day. We had a yoga class on Saturdays. We might be doing a kickboxing sweat class now also. We're offering so much online content for free. We do ask for a small donation if you can offer it, but if not, it is what it is. But diet and exercise with what we're going to tell you, diet and nutrition-wise, is going to really, really help. So I know you guys are waiting for this. I'm going to let her take it away with that, because it's very important to get to the nuts and bolts of how we can help you. Unless you got anything else you want to tell them.
No.
Okay.
It's good. So basically, social distancing, all that, masks, everything, you must do it, okay? Cleaning off your groceries when you get home, all that, all right? Now, as I said, I don't know, if what I'm going to do is helpful, but there's no harm in trying, and it can only do good. And we have this crisis right now. It looks like also it might be with us for a while until we have a vaccine. So making these changes now, getting healthier, is only going to benefit everybody in the long run, for sure. I do want to reiterate, and as Michael did too, I did talk about a lot of important things to boost immunity in my last talk. I have it all summarized on a post at my Crossroads and Health Facebook page. I'll try to move it up. But it has a picture of me as a nurse from 41 years ago. When this is done,
I'll pin it to the top of her Facebook page, so you can see it every time you log into Crossroads.
Oh, great. Okay, sounds good. Okay, good. I think it's easy to find if you look for, whatever, that picture. Okay, and then, before I get into what I want to talk about, there's a couple of other helpful findings that I found seems to make a big difference in boosting immunity. One, this is a biggie that really seems to modulate that inflammatory response, and that is melatonin. Now, we've all heard about melatonin for sleep. It turns out it's also very important for immunity and very important to modulate these cytokines, like we talked about, that cytokine storm. So I really think it's important to start taking 1 milligram of melatonin at bedtime. Younger people make more of it. Older people don't make as much. Probably if you're middle-aged, you could take it if you're younger too. It's not a problem. 1 milligram and take it in the evening. If you do have issues with sleep, you can try up to 3 milligrams. That's okay to do. The other thing is a type of herb. It's called stinging nettle. And I'm going to post everything I'm telling you. It will be posted later, I promise.
On the
okay?
Crossroads and Health page, and I'll share it on my page and Precision's pages as well.
Yeah, just like I did last time. You'll get all the information. So stinging nettle, stinging like it's going to sting you, nettle, Nettle. You can get it as a tea or a supplement. Really also seems to be a very important piece at reducing cytokines and inflammation. And I ordered on Amazon. Be careful what you order. I'm not kidding. I got a package. It's like bigger than, it's like this big. So I brought some from Michael today. So we're going to be sharing a lot of that.
Fine with me.
That's right. Okay. So with that, let's talk about what I thought of.
Here we go. Diet time.
Diet time.
Although if you haven't been writing stuff down,
yeah.
I suggest you write stuff down now.
Yeah, you can.
Pen and paper. We're gonna post it later, but still, it doesn't hurt to get started.
Take notes.
Take notes because we're gonna take questions at the end of this. So if you have questions, save your questions for the end, and we're gonna answer as many of those questions as we can. Go for it.
Okay, so what I thought, what can I do now? People that I see, people out there, people with chronic health conditions. What could you do now? Because granted, all your health problems aren't going to suddenly go away, but there's a lot you can do to improve situations. And so what I thought of, there's protocols out there. They call them detoxification protocols, elimination diet, that kind of thing. There's been protocols out there for a long time.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, and they do. But I have to tell you, they bring numbers down. I've seen it over and over. I've done, labs, before I would do a protocol. I've done labs after I've done a protocol. Now my big thing is to just try to get people to be healthy all the time, but, do their best. But the big thing is, what can you do to bring those numbers down quickly? And what I have found is that either like a 21 to 28 day diet will bring down blood sugar, will bring down cholesterol, will bring down inflammation. They do. And there's studies supporting that as well. And I thought that's something that people can do quickly. There are, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. There are, along with a lot of these protocols, a lot of supplement companies that sell to medical offices. They make these powders, like drink mixes and capsules and that kind of thing that can help to step up detoxification. And you could do those. We're certainly available in our office to assist you with these protocols should you decide you wanted to go that route.
Yeah, if you guys want supplements, we can make that happen. But at the same time, we're trying to give you a detox diet that you can just buy in your grocery store.
That's right. That's my goal.
The easiest way to do it, right?
That's my goal. But I'm saying that people that want to do them, they can. And a lot of this should be done under somewhat medical supervision too, because a lot of these powders are really powerful too.
Yeah.
But I designed something that's done completely with food. And I've had people do this too many times, especially right now. People's budgets are tighter, for sure. I wanted to go with food. So, and I also want to say something about, I know Arbonne, there's a lot of things out there. They market these detoxes. The diet is great. I would not do the products. They're not science-based. They're really nothing special about them at all. The diet is good though. So that's fine if you want to do that, but I wouldn't buy any of these there's a lot of
there's a lot of details.
Popular,
There used to be some really popular ones through a couple of different supplements.
I know the Arbonne's really big out
great.
there right now.
And that's awesome.
I wouldn't buy. Don't waste your money on this.
We're just going to give you guys. If you want to waste your money, that's up to you. But we're going to give you sound, scientific, good, healthy, real food detox.
Not that it's wasting your money.
I said this in my Facebook Live 2 days ago. As a CrossFit affiliate, I believe very much strongly in what I do. And one thing I'll say is CrossFit for a long time said in their diet, like to all affiliates, this is from when I became a level 1 coach in 2009, they said, eat nuts and seeds, fruits and vegetables, lean meats, and stay away from sugar. That's what they said back then.
Right.
That is what will save you now.
Yes.
Same thing. Eating healthy.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're going to go over that right
Absolutely.
now,
That's
say
it.
more in
Yes.
depth. It's that simple.
Yes, no, it is. But for people that want to do it quickly, I want people to start out doing a strict diet. Okay, no easing into it if you want to if you have bad numbers and you want to get them under control. Bad numbers, I mean like cholesterol, blood sugar, that kind of stuff. All right. So I'm going to start out with. So I'm going to go over the diet. It's all going to get posted. First and foremost, I always make a big deal. All my patients that see me in the office, they all know this sheet. Eat a lot of vegetables and fruit because that's where we get a lot of our nutrients. And that a lot of them play a role in detoxification. But I'm going to go over some specifics. Okay, so vegetables for sure. And I know this came up last time. Fresh is always better, but frozen is fine. Canned is fine. Just eat them. Okay. And so most vegetables are great on this protocol. I want you to particularly think about sulfur-rich ones. They step up some detoxification pathways: broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts. If you can get your hands on some broccoli sprouts or want to make them yourself, they are a superfood. You could do those. Remember, we talked about color. So think color, lots of colors. They have lots of advantages. Remember, we talked about quercetin last time. Big, important thing to reduce this. It's a stabilizer of our immune system. So it's in a lot of red stuff: red onion, red cabbage.
Remember, we talked about last time eating, and your plate should be colorful.
Yes.
Was how we put it to make it simpler for you. Colorful plate.
Yes.
Same thing.
Absolutely. Vitamin A looks like it's a big deal also for immune health. So think deep yellow, orange, butternut squash, sweet potatoes, carrots. Also, spinach and kale have a lot of vitamin A as well. Now, in terms of vegetables, there are things to avoid. So avoid batter fried vegetables. When you think about cooking them, or creamed vegetable, creamed corn, that kind of stuff. Some people are sensitive to, people might have heard about this, something called nightshades or lectins. That is the genetic condition that increases inflammation. And that's things like tomatoes, eggplant, potatoes, peppers, all kinds of peppers. That would include paprika and chili and all that kind of stuff too. So if you have a lot of joint pain, I would look at eliminating those as well, doing this. And then that's vegetables. Let's go to fruit. So all fruits are great. Again, unsweetened, dried, as long as you don't have any blood sugar issues. If you have blood sugar issues, I would limit fruit to 2 servings a day. So that's generally like a serving would be a small apple or a small orange. It would be 1 serving. Berries, you could have a lot of them. A cup of berries would be equal to a fruit serving. And remember, berries are very colorful too. Again, think deep yellow, orange, and be careful of, again, sweetened canned fruit or fruit juice. There is one fruit that you should avoid, and that's grapefruit. Grapefruit does affect liver detoxification. For people who are on certain drugs, they know they're told to avoid grapefruit, so I wouldn't do grapefruit.
Don't eat grapefruit.
Right. And this, by the way, I want to reiterate, 21 to 28 days you're doing this, okay?
So the rest of this month, which is fantastic.
That's
we got
right.
nothing else to do.
That's true.
But eat right and quarantine
That's right.
ourselves for the next 28 days minimum.
That's right. It's true.
So let's go.
Very true. And be creative. So you want to how would you cook them? You can steam them, you can roast them. We'll talk about oils and stuff later.
Get creative,
you can make
guys.
sauces. You can make stews. You can grill them. All kinds of stuff. You can juice them. If you decide to juice, by the way, you want to be careful of not juicing no more than half a cup of the cruciferous stuff, the broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, that stuff. Okay? Just so because it can affect some thyroid sometimes. All right. Let's move on to meat and poultry, fish.
I like meat.
Okay. Now, protein. So liver, we're talking about reducing inflammation, but also stepping up detoxification because toxins in our body do increase inflammation. So protein, our liver, liver detoxification, there's a couple of phases. Phase 1 involves all that produce we just talked about. Phase 2 involves multiple pathways, and a lot of them are protein driven. Okay, most of them, five out of 6 are. So you want to make sure you get adequate protein. Vegetarians, vegans, that's more complex. I have a nutritionist in my office, Joellen, who's very skilled in these detox protocols, and you could make an appointment. We're all telehealth now at my office, but you could make an appointment to speak with her. She can help you because that's special circumstances. So meat, poultry, and fish. So if possible, organic or grass-fed. We're all on budgets. You do the best you can, right? Everybody, you just do the best you can, okay? The produce also should be organic or pesticide-free if you can. If you can't, then that's okay. You do the best. We all do the best we can right now. Sprayed vegetables is still better than no vegetables, any way you look at it. Locally in our area, if you're on a budget, think about Valley Produce in Simi Valley. They have very, very low prices. I'm sure there's lots of markets near you where you can get inexpensive produce. Okay, now go back to meat and poultry again. So organic or pesticide-free if possible. Everything is included, and fish as well, by the way, with the exception of fish that might be high in mercury. And so those would be things like swordfish, shark, mackerel. Tuna is high in mercury. I only recommend having it once every other week. Small fish like sardines, salmon, they're all fine. Sole, they're all fine to do. Wild game is certainly fine. We can usually get a lot of bison out here. That's all good. Organ meat, by the way, if you can eat it, it's the most nutrient dense, one of the most nutrient dense foods you can eat. It's like eating a vitamin pill. And so if you don't mind doing, liver once a week or once every other week, or chicken livers or that kind of thing, there's no better way to get nutrition than that. And it also has a lot of compounds that step up liver detoxification. That's how we're meant to get it. We're not meant to take a lot of supplements. We're meant to get it through food, and we're meant to eat the whole animal. There are even a lot of times I have people eat, if they have issues, I have them get desiccated liver pills. They're capsules. I haven't tried them, but I heard they're not bad at all. It's a brand called Ancestral Health, and it's on Amazon. It'd be $4 a day. So amount for protein, look at 8 to 10 ounces daily. Let me say one thing about eggs. On most elimination diets, eggs are not included because some people do have sensitivity to eggs. On the other hand, egg yolks have a nutrient called choline that is so helpful for detoxification, so helpful for brain health, so helpful for our cell health, that I hesitate in telling people not to eat eggs. But again, if you know you have a sensitivity, like we know, it's not a joke in our family, like my husband, Michael's dad.
Oh, man.
Yeah, really should not eat eggs, but does.
My dad loves eggs.
Yeah.
He shouldn't eat eggs.
No.
He'll decide he's going to go skiing on the mountain and he'll have eggs, and then we'll stop the bathroom 3 times.
Well, no, he tries not to do that.
So, he does. He doesn't listen. He's a bad listener.
Anyway.
If you saw our first podcast, he proceeded to make a sandwich in the middle of our podcast because he was so hungry.
I made sure he ate before. Well, he normally eats at 11:30, and he was busy cleaning out organizing his tools in the garage. It's 2 o'clock. Anyhow. Yeah. All right. So now other things to avoid other than would also be careful of like canned meats, Vienna sausage, that kind of stuff. Processed meats, that's the word that I want.
Yeah, I was going to say processed meats.
That's right. We talked about, you guys.
Lunch meats,
yes.
Supermarket guys that are just, are crap. Get your stuff all. Like boar's head meats are really good if you want lunch meats. You should be getting stuff that's actually pure, not made in a factory. And that's what she's getting at, guys. Canned meats, lunch meats.
That kind of stuff.
That stuff that you see around us in the supermarket. Try to get, like a lot of times I'll buy chicken breasts and I just roast them in the oven. I do it with the bone in, 375 degrees for 30 minutes. It's perfect. And then just slice it. Or you can make a turkey breast.
and slice it. Leftover, meat from dinner.
And they do sell meats like that at Costco.
Yeah.
On full turkey breasts at Costco.
Get a
like
rotisserie chicken even at
rotisserie,
Costco.
you can slice it. Like
if you don't have time.
If you don't have time, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not perfect, but it's better than a lot of stuff out there.
The counter, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that would be meat, fish, and poultry. Okay. Fresh, frozen, whatever. Canned also, for canned fish. Canned salmon, by the way, is almost always wild caught, and it's a good way to go if you don't mind eating it. Sardines, if you don't mind eating them. Okay, let's go on to nuts and seeds. They're all great. Okay, so definitely eat them. Be careful though, don't get on like the dried roast stuff or what is it, honey roasted or
Yeah, just get them pure.
Yeah, or lightly
salted.
roasted. Yeah.
Yeah. But don't get
that kind of stuff.
Don't get the flavored ones.
Right.
The actual flavor of the nut is what you're looking for in the seed.
Sounds good. Yes. Also, remember last time we talked about Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts being rich in selenium, which is a huge immune booster. And 2 Brazil nuts a day will give you the amount of selenium that you need. So I strongly recommend people eat Brazil nuts. And it is suggested in these diets that you avoid peanuts, because peanuts actually aren't nuts.
But yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
But guys, I've been talking about that for years with diet. When we put people on diets, cashew nut butter, cashew milk, and almond milk, and almond butter.
Yes.
Peanut butter has never been accepted. It's delicious. I love it.
Yes.
It's like if you want to cheat from time to time.
Yes.
But it's not acceptable in a detox diet, especially in a healthy macro or paleo diet or any of the diets out there. It's never been accepted on peanut butter.
Yeah, they commonly have a mold aflatoxin that's highly inflammatory. And that's one of the reasons why they're not suggested to eat them as often. There's some other reasons as well. Okay, let's go to other fats and oils. Okay, so you want to look for oils that you can actually take the particular item and make it easily in nature, that it's not chemically extracted or processed. So that would be things like olive oil, avocado oil, sesame oil, coconut oil. And then there's other ones out there, walnut oil, those nut oils, pumpkin seed oil, they're pretty expensive, but you can use them. Excuse me. Flaxseed oil, it's listed on here. I tell people to be careful of that. Discard it after 3 to 4 weeks because it becomes rancid very quickly, and that increases inflammation. It's a damaged fat. Definitely avoid vegetable oils that, like, you think about it like corn, how do you make an oil out of it? It comes as chemically extracted. Canola oil, margarine, stay away from that kind of stuff. It's pretty, it's got a lot of funky ingredients in it. We've heard about trans fats for a long time. Butter is avoided during this time because it has dairy in it, and we'll talk about dairy is not.
And don't get us wrong, guys. We know there's a lot of people out there that agree, and I know for a fact that like certain like good butters or good high and healthy fats, there's a lot of people believe out there in the ketogenic diet. Which I can go out a whole nother podcast about how those people can be full of shit sometimes. But that's another podcast, another day. But for this particular diet, we're attacking the virus, so butter's not included. Okay.
I'm talking about, because we're talking about reducing inflammation right now, and dairy can be inflammatory.
And for me, dairy is highly inflammatory.
Yes.
There you go. And I know for a fact it
yes.
is. So a lot of people, and my daughter, yes. Right. So my wife and my son can crush dairy all day.
Right.
Fine,
from the time he was tiny.
Yeah, not me and my daughter.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Okay, so that would be oils. This list says mayonnaise. They make some really good mayonnaise out there out of like avocado oil, that kind of thing. If you were to make it yourself, or there's some ones out there that are like.
Listen, 28 days.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what we're trying to be. She's trying to be nice. 20 fucking days.
That's true.
I was what anybody who out there is from Precision CrossFit that listen to me. If I say don't do it, I usually mean don't do it.
Okay.
So
yeah,
she's nice. I'm like, no, fuck that. Don't eat freaking mayonnaise.
Okay, grains. Okay, so a lot of times in paleo diet we say no grains at all, but for the purpose of an elimination diet, gluten-free grains are allowed. Okay, so grains that have gluten. Let me just talk about that first. Might be a little bit easier to start that way. That would be wheat, barley, rye, Kamut sprouts. Usually we don't run into these, but I run into a lot of people that eat Ezekiel bread. They think they're doing so good because they're eating Ezekiel bread, and that's got a lot of those grains in it. And the other one that people have been eating a lot is farro. It's become a popular grain. That grain has gluten in it. Oats in themselves generally do not have gluten, but they have, if they're milled in a facility that's also milling grains that contain gluten, they hold on to the gluten dust, which is interesting. So you want to do gluten-free grains, which is definitely out there. Gluten-free oatmeal. So Bob's Red Mill has a good one.
Cream of rice is really good if you like oatmeal.
You could do cream of rice.
Rice-based.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an oatmeal, but it's like that type of porridge.
Yeah.
Really good for a detox diet.
Yeah, it is good for a detox. Very good.
With nuts.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And you make it with almond milk.
Almond milk. Yeah, that's how I made it.
Mm-hmm.
Nuts, almond milk, and then I'll throw in some raisins and some cranberries, dried.
Sounds good.
But no sugar.
Sounds yummy.
So there's an example, guys.
Yeah. So grains that you can do would be rice.
Corn based tortillas.
Tapioca. Tapiocas, you'll see a lot of times some products, because tapioca comes from cassava root. So you'll see cassava flour, that kind of thing. Quinoa. Buckwheat.
Buckwheat pancakes.
Yeah. Yep.
Really good.
Kasha. Yeah. But no varnish, guys.
You can tell I eat this way.
Millet would be another one if you don't find it as easily.
Yeah.
Quinoa it's a good side dish, makes a lot of good
porridges too. Quinoa's a great side dish for a lot of things.
Yeah. You could do quinoa pilaf and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, legumes. So beans. There's really nothing out there except for soy and soy products, because soy can be highly allergenic. So for the purpose of this diet, it's not allowed. So it wouldn't be soybeans. And also soy-based products like soy milk. Sadly, soy sauce, but a very good substitute out there is something called coconut aminos. They're easy to find, so that's a good soy sauce substitute. But also tofu, tempeh, that kind of thing. Like I said, if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you would contact Joellen.
Yeah.
Okay, it's also no animal dairy, okay? So no cow's milk, no goat's milk, no sheep's milk, none of that stuff, okay? So so you would be avoiding butter, cheese, cottage cheese cream, ice cream, all that stuff. Non-dairy creamers. That's one thing I find. I can find people can eat so clean and they cannot give up their creamer. Give up your creamer. Most of them are garbage. They make some better ones out there now.
Almond milk ones.
They're making some better ones now. One called Nut Pods is good, and I think there's some other ones. If you have a good blender, you can make your own almond milk. Actually, your own almond milk creamer. It's pretty easy. But I can maybe post that recipe. But anyway, so what would you have? And also no yogurt. Too.
They do make dairy-free yogurt.
Yeah, they do, but be careful of the ingredients.
Yeah, I can't. I wish I had them off the top of my head. We get my daughter's specific type, and she loves them. They're cashew-based.
Okay, yeah, the Forager's is a good brand, actually.
Yeah, I think it is Forager's.
Forager's is a good
recommended for my mom.
Actually, Forager cashew yogurt is a very good
I'm pretty sure we didn't get I'm pretty sure the recommendation came from her.
Yeah, so that was
she loves them, and she likes to mix them with like our some homemade granola, which is good.
Yeah.
But you can make your own granola with this.
Yeah, if you want a real superfood to mix it with. Remember we talked about, I should have mentioned it, wild blueberries, very potent antioxidants. So get some frozen wild blueberries and, let them, warm them up in the microwave and put it in that yogurt. That would be good. So you could do almonds or other nut milk, coconut milk, this hemp milk, flax milk, rice milk, oat milk. There's all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of milks out there.
I'm sorry, you can do yogurt for milk substitutes here. I didn't see it. Coconut milk yogurt. Yep, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's allowed. Sorry, missed it.
Yeah, so then you're still going. So a couple things, guys. To chime in here with diet. Also, a lot of you guys I know you guys want to support local businesses and do takeout. What I found that works best for takeout on a detox diet is to stay Asian based. Because you get rice, and you can get lean meats. You can order, if you wanted sushi, sashimi with rice. You can kind of do the stuff we're talking about. And it's easier to order. If you are ordering takeout and you are supporting local businesses, it's easier to go Asian based. Now, if not, I'm sure any place will be willing to work with you right now.
They would. Mexican too.
Mexican,
Ethnic,
yeah.
a lot of ethnic restaurants.
Ethnic
Don't stay away from the
restaurants,
chains
Like I did Mexican
because they're
food
going to
last
cook
night.
with bad oils.
Yeah, I did Mexican food last night. I did fajitas.
Right, fajitas would be great.
Yeah, with corn tortillas.
Right.
It's
Fajitas would be fine.
So that, but
Exactly.
just like I know a lot of you guys are thinking like, how am I going to eat this? I eat
You
out
can
a
do
lot.
carne asada. You can do usually a lot.
Our else come pollo. It's rice, vegetables, and chicken.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, so there's a lot of options there, but if you need help, message us.
I always tell people to go for restaurants where they cook with real food. We should be eating at those restaurants. That's right.
Mediterranean food's great.
Yeah, Mediterranean food. There's some great Mediterranean restaurants that cook with olive oil.
Honestly, guys, it sucks, but stay away from American food. And I know that's like, what, I love America, but here's the deal, man. Like, this is a fucked up fact, but I'm just gonna say it. New Orleans their death rate is through the roof right now. It's higher than New York's, and they found that most of them were highly obese. Why are they highly obese? Well, they don't eat right. We all love that kind of food out of New Orleans. It's amazing in Louisiana, but it's not exactly the healthiest foods. And, we have an obesity epidemic in the United States. Some of the states that are directly affected by the epidemic are losing people, and that's horrible. So eat right, eat well, eat the right things, and there's certain things you need to avoid, and we're trying to give you what those things are.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Sweeteners. So again, we said too much sugar affects our white blood cell, the ability of it to kill offending organisms for up to 6 hours. So you want to limit sweeteners, but ones that you could do would be blackstrap molasses. You can't overdo that. Honey, pure maple syrup, and so both of those, sparingly. Stevia or monk fruit might be okay, but just limit it. Definitely avoid stuff like corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, white or refined sugar.
Cereal. Or I'm sorry.
No cereal. Soda. Well, I'm going to get to beverages in a minute. That's a whole thing. But soda is not a good. It's not a good thing. Period.
It's never a good thing.
And I tell you, I don't know if I mentioned it last time. I know they have to put something in Diet Coke. I meet so many people.
It's addictive as hell.
It's so many people. I don't know. I think I've got some of my nursing school classmates out there that we just had a reunion.
No, there's a study I read a long time ago.
No, but I mean, even there,
the sweetener activates certain antidotes in the brain. That
people they brought Diet Coke with them.
And what it does is it makes you. It's an addictive. The certain receptors in the brain, the sweetener in the Diet Coke is a receptor for addiction, and it's an.
I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
It's pretty amazing.
I mean, I've had patients they have to buy a 12-pack every day.
Jake, black coffee is totally okay, man.
Yeah, I'll get there. I'm going to talk about beverages. I promise.
Keep going.
Yes. Okay. So, what was that? Oh, sweeteners. So you know what? If you can get off those, also aspartame is a really, really bad one. That's been shown to affect brain activity for sure. So try to get off a lot of those sweeteners. I know what I was going to say. So I love coffee, by the way. And I do. I love it.
She drinks it in bowls, not cups.
Yeah, my husband doesn't have a bowl of coffee. And I will be the first to admit I have a coffee problem, but anyway. But I used to think I used to put coffee in my sugar because I used to put a lot of sugar in my coffee too. And I got away from all that. And what's so weird is, so now I don't put any sweetener in my coffee, and I kind of got into the taste of bitter. Coffee. No, but I got into the taste of bitter. I did, and I like it. Like I couldn't stand dandelion
greens.
Only
good coffee can I do that.
Yeah, but anyway, dandelion greens, I forgot to talk about that. They really step up detoxification too. But anyway, there are certain ones that do. I have no idea what
those are.
Oh, yeah.
They're
really bitter.
I've never, ever heard of.
You get them at the farmer's market.
You can get dandelion greens at the farmer's market, guys. And they're great for detox.
Before Michael got his dog, and I had that dog running all over the yard, and who knows where he pees, I used to even just pull them out and eat them in my yard because I figured they were organic. Yeah, and they're growing wild.
Peas are organic, too.
I don't eat them anymore since you got them. I stopped. But anyway. Oh, what happened? Yeah. Okay. So that was sweeteners. Really try and get off the habit. I got off the habit of sweeteners actually doing a detox years ago, a protocol like this. That's how I was able to stop. Spices and condiments. All of them are fine. Okay, they're all great. Be careful of grain source vinegars because they do have gluten in them. They can have gluten, let's say. Whoops,
Shit.
we'll fix it. We have some technical difficulties. Okay, let's take a little time. Should we take a little time now?
No, you're good. Keep going.
I'm good? Okay. So all spices are good. Now there are some in particular that are especially good. You're good?
I figured out what
And
happened.
I'm good? All right.
Keep talking.
All right.
What happens when you have children, guys?
Yeah. I know I said last time that I learned how to tune you out, but I guess I did.